วันที่ 19 พฤษภาคมที่ผ่านมาอัลบานีเกเบรมิส ยูนิเวิร์ส 2022 เดินทางมาร่วมกิจกรรมที่มหาวิทยาลัยกรุงเทพโดยคณะนิเทศศาสตร์มหาวิทยาลัยกรุงเทพมีสาขาวิชาการผลิตอีเวนต์และการจัดการนิทรรศการและการประชุมเป็นหลักสูตรที่เน้นการออกแบบและผลิตอีเวนต์และไมซ์ที่แปลกใหม่สร้างสรรค์ซึ่งด้านอัลบานีเกเบรค่ะได้เยี่ยมชมแฟชั่นที่เป็นมิตรกับสิ่งแวดล้อมของนักศึกษาคณะศิลปกรรมศาสตร์พร้อมกับร่วมพูดคุยและเปลี่ยนความรู้ในหัวข้อ Passion and Sustainable Fashion Design ซึ่งเปิดโอกาสให้นักศึกษาทุกคนค่ะเข้าร่วมสร้างแรงบันดาลใจสู่การค้นหาแพชชั่นและการออกแบบแฟชั่นอย่างยั่งยืนนั่นเองค่ะ
In my opinion, I think high fashion is much more quality fashion. So the clothing lasts in the closet much longer as opposed to fast fashion where maybe you wear a garment once or twice and then you're done with it. So high fashion, it is much more expensive and not as accessible, but it's great to have those pieces that you'll keep in your closet forever. The biggest misconception, I would say one is that it's not accessible and it's hard to do. So my job as Miss Universe and using this platform is to really raise awareness and make it easy for people to understand, because I think the big misconception is that it's not understandable and you can't be a part of it, and I'm here to tell everybody in simple little ways how they can be part of the big movement of sustainable fashion. Yes, I think as you're referring to, the sales are increasing because people love fashion and they still love to buy it, and I'm not trying to stop people from buying fashion, but just raise consciousness around really appreciating your clothing and not just using a one and done method where you buy a piece of clothing and you throw it in the trash. People will always want to buy clothing, but if they keep in mind looking for quality clothing and be conscious about if they can find sustainable fashion a little bit more, I think that's the steps in the right direction. Yes, for any young designer that is looking for a place to start, I think for one, you can go to secondhand stores or vintage stores and really experiment with clothing that maybe has holes in it or is not as nice, and you won't be scared of ripping it apart and really experimenting to find new designs. I think that's a great place to start for a designer, and that will be the birthplace of different creative outlets, designs, and ideas for you to really find your style as a designer, because you really want that brand identity. I think it's really important to build your brand identity when you're first starting out. Yes, so before I won Miss Universe, I was living and working in Houston, Texas at a nonprofit design house, Magpies and Peacocks, where I was teaching sewing classes to women that have survived from domestic violence and human trafficking. So it was a special program with about 5 students each class, and I would work with these women weekly to teach them sewing classes. But it was so much more than sewing classes. We built a community and a support system. And I think one of the really important things I learned was building a relationship with a woman to reframe her mindset so she doesn't go back to her past life. I think there's a lot of traumatic experiences people go through, but if they're opened up to opportunity and realize there's so much more out there for them, they're learning not only a new skill, but it's empowering them for a brighter future. And I was able to come in and build a relationship with these women. I have one woman that wanted to go back to prostitution, but I would be with her every single week, reminding her that there's other opportunities in life and that she deserves so much more. So community and the support system, I think, is everything, especially women. For us today, we must continue to push each other forward and not go back to our previous life. Yes, thank you for that question. There would definitely be more speaking engagements that I'll be doing, not only just for sustainable fashion, but I want to connect to everybody. And that's why I really talked about pushing past failure, because I think everybody can relate to that. And so moving forward, Miss Universe is giving me that opportunity to speak to more people. And that is really one of the main focuses of this job, is to connect and inspire people. So I will be doing that the rest of my reign as well. Oh yes, and I feel it. I love being here. This trip, I am not here long enough. I always want to stay longer. It's about 8 days. So what I've been doing is interviews, as well as this opportunity to speak at Bangkok University. We have some fashion shoots going on as well. And then we had the charity where we feed the street with the leftover food. There's a few other things on the schedule. We're packing it all in, but I know I'll be back, and I cannot wait to be back. I am always trying to update the world with what I am doing behind the scenes as Miss Universe. I'm very busy and I have opportunities to do 3-4 things a day and juggle a lot. And I really hope to connect with the modern woman that is juggling so many things and she's still able to present herself and still show up for herself at the end of the day. So the now for me is so important to show people. I really try to portray my adventures and my travels and my experiences with people through social media. The JKN team really works hard to just take y'all along with us because we want to inspire people to continue to work hard. You can juggle so many things, but ultimately feel empowered and empower your communities, and we're really trying to capture that everywhere we go.